And so, my dear ones, here we are together again. It seems that, time gets really compressed one day into the next, and it's time to be in each other's company again, and it's a wonderful thing. So today we're moving along and we're looking at the way we perceive life, how we vision things, what's going on in our minds and in our hearts as we do see, perceive, and vision. And so this week we're asking ourselves the question, how am I in the world? How am I every day in the world? Am I able to be open and receptive to the good that's there for me every day, the good that I'm supposed to have and experience and express? How can I move through this life in that sense of awe and wonder because of its great diversity and opportunity for more and more and more of a big life experience? And what is it that causes me to jump out of my littleness, my box, that may be very, very comfortable, and yet it's like a prison cell? Because there's so much more in and to you and from you that could be expressed, and me too, and everybody as well. It's an awesome thing, this thing called life, and you and I are in the endeavor of unfolding more and more of what that means, moving through me as an individual and all of life too. That's why we are students of truth, and that is why we come together in spiritual communities. We come together to know, to love, to understand, to be one, to be on that edge of ever more expanding the awareness of who and what we are in truth, regardless of appearances. Now, here's the thing, my dear ones. I don't know whether you've discovered this or not, but I certainly have. You and I, or anything in form, will never appear to us, or some of us, as perfect. As perfect. Why is that? Because of evolution. If we were perfect, we wouldn't need to keep evolving. And yet, you and I have that expectation of us, and some of us more than others, that we should be perfect. And I'm not sure what perfect means to each and every one of us. Does that mean if you are according to my idea of how you should be, you're perfect? Well, there's going to be a great deal of disappointment under that kind of thinking, because we are evolving, and that's a wonderful thing, because it doesn't matter what kind of a condition we got ourselves into, we know we can get ourselves out of it, because we are amazing beings. And as Marianne Williamson once said, it's not at all, it truly is not our inadequacy that frightens us. It is the fact that we are so awesomely powerful that frightens us. And to the extent that we feel frightened about our powerfulness is a good start. Because usually most of us don't even recognize how powerful we are. So when we start to get that sense, if it scares us a little bit, that's okay. We feel the fear and move through it anyway, kind of thing. So here you are, and here I am in this three-dimensional experience on planet Earth, and most of that is occupied with just making do, getting through. I see the most wondrous contributors, busy people, running around on nervous energy. And because of that, they never think they're doing enough. They never think they are enough. They never feel the beauty and the grace of what comes through as a result of making a difference. And they weary easily. We do weary easily when we are efforting and when we're working on nervous energy. And everything in metaphysics and down through the ages, the mystics have all said the same thing. That if you and I want to truly be in awe and wonder and delight at our life and our living and everything therein and within, it's got to be with grace and ease. It can't be pushed or shoved or pulled. It's got to be with grace and ease. It's not going to happen until you and I learn how to maintain our poise in every circumstance, every situation, and stay as close to center as possible. Now, that's not going to happen all of the time. We've all learned that, those of us who are in this endeavor. However, what can happen is, as soon as we feel ourselves getting separated from the center core of our being, we get back on track again. And we don't worry that we fell asleep for 3 minutes, metaphorically speaking. We just get back on track and we keep on going. So the thing about this thing called life is that it is always in a state of flux. It's changing all of the time. And as Reverend Catherine said this morning, every thought is creative. Every thought is creative. And so creativity has to do with change, does it not? I created this there, I'll create that there. I was creative in this a minute ago, but now I'm creative in that. Whether that's a positive or a negative, it doesn't matter. We are all the time creating. Now, what you and I want to do as part of a spiritual community is to create for ourselves the good life, the whole life, the purposeful life, the intentional life, the mindful life. Because that's the way we can be the best of ourselves. And that's the way we'll evolve much more quickly when we stay alive in the process, awake and alert. And so what's called for from us in this day and for the week is to pay attention. Pay attention. We can get so bogged down when we get overtired and overweary. We can get so caught up in circumstances and situations. We can truly lose a sense of our greater selves when we allow ourselves become an echo rather than an affect. You see, when you and I care about what everybody else is thinking and saying, whether it's in our regard or whatever regard, and we're influenced by it, then we become affected rather we become affected rather than being our own person with our own mind, our own heart, our own soul, and our own sense and sensibility. And really and truly, as Mark said last week, everybody on the planet has an opinion, and it's their opinion. It doesn't have to be yours, and we don't have to make somebody else's opinion ours. And we have to have enough confidence in ourselves to know that we're quite capable of having our own opinion and making our own decisions and moving our own way through the world. Now, that's not going to happen as long as you and I are running on fumes or running around with nervous energy. It's just not going to happen. That consumes the energy we have available to us in every day, the physical energy we have available to us every day. So the invitation always in a spiritual community, in a spiritual teaching, is to be here now. And while you're being here now, choose to be the best of yourself, whatever the best is in any given moment. And sometimes the best will be awesomely, amazingly, terrifically huge. And sometimes it's going to be this, But that's okay. Just be your best, whatever your best can be in any given moment. And that's all that is required. And don't worry about other people and how you're looking at them and saying, well, they can do it, and she can do it, and he can do it, and so on. Not your business, and it's no help to you, and it's a hindrance. Just what is my best in the moment now? How can I be in that awe, in that wonder? How can I get myself back into that alignment? How can I move back into poise so that I can maneuver, navigate, negotiate whatever is in front of me wisely and well? And that's not going to happen without a practice. Now, Dr. Ernest Holmes says there are times, when we have to climb over the rocks of unbelief. Climb over the rocks of unbelief. And he says we have to pass over the hills of doubt. And we have to plunge, I love that word, into the stream of faith in order to maintain our center. And what he's always pointing to, Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, is the power in the universe that's greater than anyone or anything that is in you, in me. In fact, it lives in us, it moves in us, and it moves through us. And it can be directed. And when it's not directed, it can indeed find its movement in ways that are not inclined to expand us. Because that power is an energy, it's a force, it's a consciousness, and it is as awesomely powerful on the negative side of life as it is on the positive side of life. So always we need to ask ourselves the question, what am I thinking? I can remember my mother when I was a child used to say, what were you thinking, child? And we need to ask ourselves that question, what am I thinking, because it's affecting what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, and how I'm showing up in the world. What am I thinking? And so the good thing is to know that you are not alone ever in feeling, I'm not getting this. I don't think I'm there yet. I feel I have a long way to go. I'm experiencing self-disappointment and so on and so forth. There's not a person on the planet who hasn't gone through all of that and then some. You're not alone in that. The whole idea about spiritual practice is to get over ourselves regarding all of that and to stop berating ourselves as a result of it and stop envying others, their poise or whatever the appearance is that they have. Nothing to do on this plane except self-care. And in self-care, you grow into wisdom and grace. You grow into generosity of spirit. You grow into loving the opportunity to make a difference on this plane and to show up in sacred service. It's a joy and not a chore. However, when you and I are running around on nervous energy and we're volunteering for this and volunteering for that and volunteering for the other, and there's just not enough hours in the day or energy in you or me to accomplish all that we've signed up for, it soon becomes tedious. It soon becomes a drag, and eventually we give up. That's not how it's meant to be. The thing about it is, every day of our lives, you and I come into this world to make a difference, to put whatever it is we came here to put on the plate of life, the table of life, every day. And we can only do that when we're in the sense of curiosity, awe, and wonder, and enthralled by this whole idea, this thing called life. We can only do it that beauteously when we're in that state. And that just doesn't come as a given. You and I have to set ourselves up for that. We have to pay attention to ourselves. We need to be able to center ourselves first thing in the morning, because as I said last week, your first thoughts are the most important thoughts of the day, because that sets the energy, the tone of the day. And so we're missing out on so much in life, so much joy, so much happiness, so much ability to raise energy on the planet and to bring good to the table of life, because we're so preoccupied with just keeping ourselves together and keeping going. And it doesn't have to be like that. My goodness, we could get up in the morning and say, instead of, oh, I have to do and I have to do this and I have to say, oh my goodness, I get to do something wonderful today. Not sure what that is yet. I know I have my list of intentional things that I want to accomplish today, but there's something else. There's something else. I get to experience something wonderful good today, to be something wonderful, to bring something wonderful, and I just can't wait to see how that's going to unfold and what it is. Because I know it's not just me. I'm not in this life just on my little own-some as a little separate human being. I am absolutely accompanied with that power and that presence that created me and moved into me when it created me and stayed within me and is present to me and available to me to use its power, to use its energy for good. There's nothing you and I couldn't do if we were to feel like that every day of our lives. And in the beginning, it's going to be hit and miss. It's, you'll manage it for a day, or you might even manage it for an hour the first time you really focus on it and try it. But all the time, if you still keep making the endeavor, not the effort, the endeavor, that will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and soon you will not care one iota what anybody thinks about you. You will only care about how you think and feel about yourself. And in accomplishing that, you will know how to interact with everything and everyone else because you've had the experience. And you know that here's where you are now, but somebody else may not be quite there yet, but they're full of that awesome ability and power and presence to be the moreness of themselves, the greatness of themselves. So the whole idea is to stop thinking in terms of I am not whatever. I am not whatever needs to go. We need to be telling ourselves more of what we are than what we're not, and focus on that. And even in the beginning, if you can only see one little thing that you're really good at or whatever, you start there and you don't touch the other stuff. Call upon the power and call upon the presence that is within you. Don't think you have to run to some building or holy tree or holy well or holy river to have the experience of that good, that God. No. You have to run to the well and the river of the living waters within yourself, and so do I. But you know what? Many of us are very spiritually lazy. We don't want to make the effort. We'd like somebody else to do it for us. Well, nobody can do this. Nobody can live your life, and nobody can live mine. And remember, your life is yours to live, but not to live through other people's ideas and other people's telling you who and what you are. Not at all. Your job is a job enough, and that is to unfold the beauty and the grace that you are, and to do that in wisdom, to do that wondrously, to do it well, because you can. And I know some people listening to me today feel that they are in dire straits. They may have rocked themselves to sleep last night because of the worry and the sense of heaviness and the burdensomeness of life. I know that. I think that there's not anybody on the planet that has lived any length of time that doesn't go through that. It is called the dark night of the soul in metaphysics. But there's always within us that little glimmer that keeps prompting us, nudging us, endeavoring to awaken us, and to have trust in the self of ourselves. The moment we stop trusting ourselves, the moment we've gone into deep mud, and we need to jump ourselves out of it. So, my dear ones, all I can say is, it's as Marianne Williamson said simply, we're afraid of being the greatness that we are, the power that we are, because we don't believe it. Because we have told ourselves the opposite, and others have told us sometimes the opposite, so we just can't believe that. Imagine, we'd rather believe our egoic selves and others with regard to who and what we are than the truth that resides within us. So you are great, you are mighty, you are capable. You can move through any challenge, absolutely. But that requires your commitment and your presence, and it requires continuous commitment and regular visits to the center core of your being. Can you do it? Of course you can do it. Will you do it? That's up to you. But the invitation is always there. And just know that when you start the process, all the help will come to you from within you and around you and about you, and you will feel supported. There's no doubt about that. And remember, at the end of the day, we belong to nothing and we belong to everything. We are our own individual self. We're on an individual journey ourselves. And so that is why you and I must stay connected with the source and the course of our beingness. I'm telling you, it's a wonderful thing, those times when you glimpse it and experience it. And that doesn't mean it'll stay with you. It won't, because you're in human form, and all of us in human form are subject to making mistakes constantly. But as long as we understand that we can learn from them and move on and know that there'll be bigger gaps between the times we make mistakes and don't, and there'll be a longer stay in the presence when we allow ourselves to experience it, and it's quite spontaneous. So, keep your energy high. Keep your mind high. Keep your heart high. And know that the power of life and light and love is saturating every aspect of your being, and it's for you to call it forth and create an open receptivity to its experience in your life, and see if the heavens do not open and you're showered with more blessings than you can receive. For that's how life works. And you are life. And I believe that in this moment now you're ready for the new and the wonderful, because God dwells in you as you, and you are its point of light through which it expresses its own allness and fullness. So that's something great to think about today. And so until we meet again, I know that you're going to absolutely grab this opportunity and go for freeing yourself into all of that wonder and delight. And now Reverend Catherine's going to come forward and share something with us.
So this is the time that we take a moment and send out messages that have come to us that help us to know how we are doing with our mission statement, which is to honor your presence, to nurture your spirit, and to enrich the life of all we serve. And this is one of the messages. I have had difficulty in a work situation when we are having our committee meetings. One of the members often says things that aren't quite true. He is condescending when I and others offer differing points of view. This situation has gone on for some time, and it's bothersome. Actually, it's irritating. Since studying science of mind, I completely realized that I am the one that needs to change, not the person on the committee. I have managed this well enough that others on the team say, "How do you remain so calm?" I know that I'm not always calm on the inside yet, but I don't roll my eyes and I don't sigh as others still do. I love this teaching and I bless the day that I found it. Thank you.
Wonderful is that, my dear ones. That's that's the Spirit coming through and awakening us a little bit more. And we're very grateful to you for sharing that. That was wonderful, because I'm sure everybody can identify with such a situation, if not one way, another, because it can happen in families too. It doesn't only pertain to the workplace, but the family as well. And I always say, if you can make it in your family and maintain your poise, you're way ahead of so many, because it's a great learning ground, the place called family. And so at this point now, we're going to celebrate our fullness, our plenty. We are going to be in gratitude, which is a beautiful energy, for all of our life's blessings. And we're going to share. And so here's what we're knowing right now, that I really am so happy to have enough in my life that I can share from. And so I bless that enoughness. And I know that divine love consecrates my gift, and that it goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. And I do really rejoice in the fact that I have this enoughness to share from. And so I bless all the givers and all the receivers, and I know the highest and most wonderful unfolding good for all. And may all live in awe and wonder at the great self that dwells within. And so it is. And so, my dear ones, before our peace song, I'm just going to remind you that we are here for you, however we can be here for you. And we're very, very open in mind and heart. We're very receptive to all the sharing that comes to us. And we're very grateful for the support that we are given to sustain the legacy of this great work in the Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living. And thank you, all of you wonderful food angels that keep the pantry going. We really, really are grateful for that. And so are many people who are on the receiving end of it. So thank you in every which way. And know we truly are here for you. And as soon as we can, as soon as everything is set up in a way with your good and your safety in mind, we will start to open up. We'll have that soft opening. So in the meantime, I ask you to have patience, because we can always find a way to be how we want to be, to do what we want to do, no matter what. So again, stay in touch with us. If you're in need of any kind, please let us know. Please let us know. We cannot do anything if you don't let us know. And thank you again for your good thoughts, your good feelings, your good deeds. You are making the difference in our world. And the universe always rewards that. So take care of yourselves and know that you're loved and cherished. Be kind to yourself and kind to each other. Put a smile on somebody's face today. Do something good for somebody today. Surprise them in a good way. You know, it's the best way to find yourself in joy. So until we meet again, as the children say, goodbye, so shall I. And now our peace song. Thank you, Andy.